Companion is a movie written and directed by Drew Hancock. It stars Jack Quaid as Josh and Sophie Thatcher as Iris. They are a couple that are gonna take a weekend off in a secluded cabin in the woods with a couple of friends as well. And then let's just say that things and people are not what they seem. So I approached this movie basically knowing nothing about it. I had seen the poster, which is very enticing. I knew that it had good reviews. Regarding the movie's premise, I knew nothing. I had not seen trailers either. Although I think this is the best way to approach movies because like this, you have no expectations whatsoever. But even finding context was difficult. If you go on the Wikipedia page of the movie, you can see that the writer and director has no Wikipedia page of his own, so we don't know about his previous work. I of course knew that Jack Quaid is Dennis Quaid's son. He appeared in Oppenheimer as Richard Feynman. He also stars in a movie that's currently in the movie theaters called Novocaine. And then Sophie Thatcher, she starred in last year's Heretic alongside Hugh Grant. What I'm trying to say is that I approached this movie basically blind, and I think you guys should as well, because this is a really good movie. Regarding the genre of the movie, I would say it's a mix of sci-fi and thriller with elements of romance. And right from the get-go, if I had to compare this movie with another film, it would be with Barbarian. Not because of the plot of the movie, but because both movies are so unpredictable. This is a movie that really strives due to the amount of twists and turns that it has. And even when the writing is not as good as the directing, you're gonna be on the edge of your seat. Like Barbarian, these are two films that even 25 or 30 minutes into it, you're not really sure where this is going. Thematically, this is a movie that takes modern anxieties regarding the rapid development of technology and elaborates them into a story. Not only this, but it also explores themes akin to Blade Runner, such as sentience of AI. It really does delve into some interesting themes, and I was not expecting this, to be honest. If I had to say one word to describe the style of directing of the movie, it would be slick. To quote the great Gene Siskel back in 1986 when he was reviewing Blue Velvet, this is a movie that plays the audience like a piano. For example, there is a scene where Sophie Thatcher's character is evaluating options or possibilities on how to move forward, and each one of these scenarios is developed on the screen in such a way that we are led to think that this is what's actually happening. Also, I really like movies where they develop a world with a set of rules and then they explore the limits or the possibilities of these rules. To illustrate this point, I would use The Truman Show as an example, and I guess spoilers if you haven't watched this movie. Once we understand that Jim Carrey's character, he is secluded from the world in this huge dome, and we as the audience think, okay, but what happens if he reaches the end of the dome? How is the whole show orchestrated? Who's directing it? Are all of them actors? These are all questions that come to mind once we understand what's actually happening in that movie. And in this movie, probably 35 minutes in or so, once we as the audience understand what's actually going on, we begin thinking, if some of these characters are not humans like we initially thought, and their qualities and attributes can be modified, then what would happen if, for instance, their intelligence is modified, or the language that they speak, or the tone of their voice, or how aggressive they can get? It is really smart directing, and even though this is not like a revolutionary sci-fi movie like The Matrix, I still think that the movie is overall a standout in the genre. I also really like the humor in the movie. A lot of it is not through dialogue, but through what's actually being shown to us. Certain characters have memories that are played out to us on the screen, and then throughout the movie, these memories change. It makes for some really funny moments. This movie also explores infatuation. Some of the best dialogues in the movie come from characters trying to explain this obsessive love that they feel for another person, a love so strong that it hurts. Again, like the movie Barbarian, which if you guys have not watched, you're doing yourself a disservice. This is a movie that has layers of secrets within secrets. Kind of like those Russian dolls, the Matroska, I think is how you pronounce them.
Matryoshka.
It is not a perfect movie, though. One particular issue that I had was that the screenplay has so many twists and turns that by the third act of the movie, I found some of these to be unnecessary. Another criticism that I have of the movie is that the story is driven by a secret plan or plot by some of the characters, which eventually goes wrong. But if you stop and think about it, how couldn't they have predicted that it was gonna go wrong? If the plan was only devised by one person, then maybe we could justify it by saying that the person was not very bright. However, there were several people involved in the plan. So to me, it makes no sense that they didn't consider these possibilities of the plan going wrong. And then by the end of the movie, I have issues with some minor plot points, certain characters being reprogrammed and then remembering stuff from before they were reprogrammed. I had a big issue with this one plot point. But look, overall, I thought this was a very good movie, actually. I would recommend it to anyone out there that wants to watch something different, something unpredictable, at times funny. It is honestly the first movie of 2025 that I thoroughly enjoy it. And because of this, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. All right, if you guys watch the movie, please let me know what you thought of it. Like and subscribe and all of that jazz. And I will see you guys very soon.